Welcome back, and hello. It's good to be here. It's good to have you here. Um, February is almost over. By this time next week, it will be over. So I figured I should do a little haul video for y'all. Show off some capitalistic greed at its finest and funniest. Um, and I'll just show you every book I bought in January and in February. I will preface this by saying I usually don't go this hard. Um, I'd like to say I don't go this hard, but with the holidays and stuff, I had a lot of gift cards sitting around, so I went a little deep. So we'll start simply. This isn't an order of when I got them or anything. This is just essentially an order from smallest to largest because that's how I have them organized in this tower directly off camera that you hopefully cannot see. But we will start with two books from my favorite popcorn author, my favorite girly, Sienna Maguire. We've got An Artificial Night by Sienna Maguire, the third October Day book. And as you know, I did read the second one last month. Really, really good, really fun books. Like I just called them, very popcorn booky, which is good. Sometimes you need a little book popcorn in your life. And then we've got Magic for Nothing, which is, I think this is the sixth or fifth or seventh one of those of the Encrypted series, also by Sienna Maguire. Very good. I like these even more than I like the October Day ones. But again, popcorny, super fun, Cryptid family. Woo. We've got Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, the classic. I'm surprised I've never read this before, but I haven't, so I'll finally read it eventually when I get around to this. Probably all of these I will probably not read until next year. But, woo. Then we've got Naruto Itachi's Story Daylight. I read both of the Kakashi Naruto light novels, I think it was 2 years ago. And they were fun. They were interesting. If you want a little, Naruto fix, but you don't want to read all 700 chapters of the manga or watch all 800 episodes of the anime, the light novels, you could do worse. You could definitely do worse. We've got Kill the Farm Boy by Delia S. Dawson and Kevin Harney. This just seemed very Terry Pratchett-y to me. It kind of had that kind of fantasy funny vibe to me, which is why I picked it up. And it was cheap enough that I could get it as a free book reward on Thrift Books. So, we've got In the Hands of the Goddess, the second Song of the Lioness book by Tamora Pierce. As you know, I read the first one last month and I really liked it. So I immediately had to go out and buy the second one. We'll see. Sadly, this isn't the same cool cover as the first one. But I've gotten, the older I get, the less picky I get about all my covers have to be the same. When I was younger, I was really finicky about that. But anymore, it's like, a book's a book. Who cares? I'm going to read it, and I'm going to see the spine most of the time anyway, not the actual cover, so who cares? Then we've got The Greenhouse by Mario Vargas Llosa. I legitimately don't remember what this book is about or why it was on one of my wish lists to begin with, but it was at the very back of a wish list, and I figured it's been sitting here long enough. I'll just buy it, and we'll see. So very good. Very good. And then we've got The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Thomas E. Moorhead. This book was way, way smaller than I thought it was going to be. I just got this because the song is a bop, and I was honestly kind of hoping this would also be a bop, but I don't think it's going to be a bop. It's like not even 100 pages. I'm going to finish it in a day. Then we've got A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. I have been interested in this book for a long time. I've heard the name, forever. But I never have read it until I finally got a hold of it, which is a surprise that I haven't read it before. But now I do have it and I can read it. I'm really looking forward to this one, honestly. I think out of everything I've shown so far, this is what I'm most interested in. Because, Confederacy of Dunces, it kind of has a reputation, Then we've got Heavenly Fire by Jiren J. Zhao. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't, as always. I really, 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 really liked Iron Widow. I thought Iron Widow was great. I read it pretty soon after it came out. I was enamored with it. I loved it. So I'm glad I finally got off my butt and picked up a copy of this. Hopefully it lives up, but it should. I'd be surprised if it didn't, because the first one was really just that good. Then we've got this collection of 3 Gothic novels I found for super cheap on, again, Thrift Books, my beloved, my best friend. We've got The Castle of Otranto, Vathek, the Vampire, and then a fragment of a novel. I know nothing about any of these. I just wanted to read some Gothic novels because, Gothic novels. I was in the mood at the time when I bought it. So now I have it. Sadly, this edition's a little banged up, but who cares? That's what you get when you buy used. Then we've got Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruccio. This book, this whole franchise was like exploding on BookTube Talk, whatever you want to call it. I remember it being all over the place last year. It was interesting, and I could not for the longest time find a physical copy in the Barnes & Noble near me. Like, I could not. I just couldn't. I even went to a bookstore like in the next state over, just on coincidence. I wasn't there specifically looking for this, but I still couldn't find it, so I just had to bite the bullet and buy it from the website. We've got The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune. This is the Book of the Month edition of this book. This is also probably the last, well, not probably. This is the last Book of the Month book I'm ever going to get. I canceled my subscription out of this. After this, I won't go into Book of the Month and my hate-love relationship with it. But this one seemed interesting. Sci-fi, something about a girl named Darth Vader. It's so hard for me to find a book that I care about on Book of the Month. Then we have A Movie Making Nerd by James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. I have no idea if this is gonna even be good. He's a filmmaker, not an author, but I mean, I've been a fan of the guy since before I really even knew what being a fan of someone was. I shouldn't have been watching those videos back then, but James is an internet goat. We all know James. We all love James, unless you don't love James, which I can kind of understand why you wouldn't. He's made some choices, but again, we're not here to go into James Rolfe. We're here to talk about the fact that I have his book and I will read it eventually. Then we've got A Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I've heard so much about the First Law trilogy. I've really wanted to pick it up, but I haven't, just because it's I mean, they're not that big. I've read bigger, but I don't know. I just couldn't until now motivate myself to pick it up. Felt like I had other things. I didn't want to start a fantasy book by an author I'd never read before. That's the good thing about gift cards. They let you kind of just buy stuff. And then finally, my last physical book, I got a bunch of ebooks, which we'll go over. I got House of Leaves. I am so excited to read House of Leaves. This is going to kill me. This is probably going to be like the only book I read the month I read it. But I am super, super, super excited to read House of Leaves. I love this kind of stuff. I love house.mod or whatever, the Doom mod. I love just this kind of thing really interests me. So of course I'm very happy to have this book and finally read it. Definitely excited for this. But I'm being good and I'm finishing the books I already bought for this year before I read it. Now, on to ebooks. I use Kobo, not Amazon. I don't have one of those things where I get a book, I get the free specific books that they talk about. But anytime a book on my wish list goes on sale for $1.99 or less, I buy it. So this is going to be a pretty big list. I also bought some books at full price because they were sequels and I was interested in them. So we're just going to rapid fire these really quick. We've got Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesar, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laura Gilmore, Vulcan's Glory by D.C. Fontana, When the Crows Away by R. Lee Wallace, Welcome to the NHK-1, Tarzan of the Apes by Edgar Rice Burroughs, A Snake Lies in Waiting by Jin Yong, The Old Man in the Corner by a name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, but it's a classic detective novel. We got The Monkey Dish by Michael Curry, The First Meg Book by Steve Alton, A Lonely Broadcast by Kel Byron, I Found a Circus Tent in the Woods Behind My House by Ben Farthing, A Heart Divided by Jin Yong, Dungeons and Drama by Kirsty Boyce, The Crystal Shard by R.A. Salvatore, A Bond Undone by Jin Yong, and then every single Arsène Lupin book by Maurice LeBlanc. Yes. Like I said at the start, I usually don't go that hard. I probably will not be making another, fingers crossed, knock on wood, all that. Probably will not be making another book haul video even for 3 months this long until we get near the end of the year. and I've cleaned up some of my towers because I really don't need these books. That's the thing, right? Like I love books. I like owning books. I like looking at my books on the shelf. But the thing is, I'm a realist and I understand that I don't need these books. I have plenty of books to read already. And that's the thing. Like I said at the start of this, if I didn't have gift cards sitting around that I needed to use, or free book rewards, I wouldn't be buying these books because I don't need them. I have plenty of books to read. I'm not about to sit here and tell you, oh, you should buy these books because as much as I know that I am guilty of overconsumption, you should not be. Read what you have first. Make your TBR smaller. Do not buy until you've finished what you have. That's just a little PSA from me, a person you didn't ask the opinion of. Well, have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of February. Hit those goals. I've already hit my goal for this month, but you'll hear about that next week, and good night.